Can music theory really be this simple? The answer is yes, and in this video, I'm going to show you how you can understand theory a lot easier by using a tool like the circle of fourths. This will help us visualize and organize music, ultimately making us better musicians. What's up, everyone? My name is Matthew Dale. I am here to help you play better, sound great, and understand more. And we're going to be taking a look at the understand more part of that a lot today. Okay, so here we are using our circle of fourths. Now, I prefer the circle of fourths over the circle of fifths because music will tend to revolve clockwise around the circle. More on that in a little bit of this video. So, but it's all semantics. Circle of fifths, circle of fourths, it's all really the same stuff. Just depends on which direction you're moving around that circle. So real quick, a fourth is just, counting four notes. So if we look at, starting with C up the alphabet, D, E, F. F is our fourth note, and that's why we have this right here. C going to F, it's the circle of fourths, so it's going to be moving to the next fourth. Now, these are all musical perfect fourths, which is why we move to a B flat, and then to an E flat, and we have our flats, and then later on our sharps as well in the mix. We're going to start with how you can find your scales a lot easier using this, but here's the typical, what I would call the band room way, right? So let's say we, want to find what is in the key of G. We see that the key of G has one sharp. Our sharps start with F sharp, and that's our first sharp, so then G must have one sharp and it's F sharp, and then we would have G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, and G. But there's actually an easier way, and that's my first hack for you here. Check this out. Same key of G. Why don't we just start with G, go one click over on our fourths, and then just circle those 7 notes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's our key of G. It's right there. It's all organized in that order. Now, of course, that order is forced, but we can see the notes very clearly. G, A, B, C, D, E, and there's our F sharp. Easy. Let's try another one on the flat side of things. Let's try F. So again, one click over on our circle of fourths, and then it's those 7 letters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And there is our key. F, G, A, B flat, C, D, and then E. Let's try something a little bit more challenging on the sharp side of things. So let's take our key of B here for a second. Same rules apply. One click around the circle of fourths, moving clockwise, and then 1 note, 2 notes, 3 notes, 4 notes, 5 notes, 6 notes, and then 7 notes right there. And we need to do a little bit extra work with my particular diagram because it doesn't have all of the inharmonic notes in there, but same rules apply. B, and then C sharp, and then D sharp, which is E flat, and then E, and then F sharp, and then G sharp, which is A flat, and then A sharp, which is B flat. And then there are all of our notes. Now I'm going to go back to C again, and we're going to put all of these in order because we'll see some trends that we got coming up here. So C, D, E, F, G, A, and then B. We know that's the C major scale. Same rules apply here. Everything on this side of the line is our key of C. And if we go ahead, I'm going to get rid of these guys up here. And now let's just go ahead and put our numbers as they would appear on the circle. So C is, of course, 1, and then D is 2, and then E is 3, and then F is 4, and then G is 5, A is 6, and then B is 7. So that's our C major scale. We all know that, but what if we nip off the ends? So if we say just temporarily get rid of the F and get rid of the B, well, what is that scale in particular? It sounds like this. And that is, of course, the C major pentatonic. So the pentatonic scales are really close together on the circle of fourths. It's just the 5 notes, starting with the root and then working backwards, those 5 notes. Now, something that's really interesting that we'll get to in a second, every time we have a major scale on one side, on the opposite side, we also have a series of 5 notes. We'll talk about that later on in this video. The circle of fourths is also great for helping us organize chord progressions in songs. And here's something that's really easy. If we take a look, again, we're in the key of C. Our other major chords in the key would be G and F. So these 3 guys are major, chords, we call that our primary chords. And if you're playing other songs and someone asks you to take a solo, but you're not really aware of what the key is, like no one told you what the key is, you can find out for yourself really easily. So let's say the chords of the song are a D chord, an A chord, and an E chord, just using this as an example. Well, the one in the center of those three major chords is going to be the key you're in. Think of like the Ramones. Right? So that is in the key of A. It's the center point of those three major chords. Now, moving back to the key of C, the same thing is actually true for our minor chords. So the next chords in the key of C, D, A, and E would all be minor chords. And again, if we look at what is in the center, the A minor is also our relative minor of the key. So that's another nice little trick to find relative minors. And of course, our last chord in the key, the lonely 7 chord, it is our diminished triad or minor 7 flat 5 chord. That lovely tonality there. So let's look for some other chord trends that we have going on here. The first chord trend is really 5-1. If nothing else, the most important chord progression of all of music is 5-1. That's what we often call a cadence, and it acts as sort of a musical period. It ends a musical statement, 5-1. You can think that's our 5-1 resolution. You can also have other cadences like 4-5-1. Or if you're playing jazz, you'll see this a lot, 2-5-1. And that is a circle of fourths chord progression. So 2 would be resolving or going to our 5 chord, and the 5 chord would be our 1 chord. Most jazz music is all about 2, 5, and 1. Let's keep the trend going. Let's go down one more chord to the A chords. Now we'll go 6-5-1, and we get disco. At first I was afraid, I was petrified, but now it looks like music theory's finally on my side. I should have thrown away that book, I should have found this guy before, and I'm gonna hit like and subscribe, cause I'm desperate for more, so go on, go. So that chord progression is 6-5-1. We see that all the time in music as well. Another step further would be the 3 chord leading to 6, leading to 2, leading to 5, leading to 1. And this, again, is very present in jazz. It's a very tonal chord progression there. Now, what if you're not great at knowing which chords within a major key are major and minor, or that one diminished chord? Well, I've done the homework for you, and I have a free document that I want to give you. It is my Essential Music Theory cheat sheet. Not only do I have all 15 major scales written out for you, but I also have all the chords in those keys, as well as so much more. So head down to the description box below and download that for yourself. Now, there's another thing that we get a very clear picture of on the circle of fourths, and that's tonality. And what I mean by that is we can see how closely related certain keys are. So the keys of C, G, and F share most of the same notes, but the keys of C and F sharp don't. F sharp is the furthest away we can get tonally from the key of C. And notice it is on the exact opposite side of our circle of fourths there. If you're a composer and you want to bring your composition into a very different key to kind of freshen your listeners' ears up, going to the key of the tritone or going, directly on the opposite side is a good trick for that. I'll give you a good example. I'm going to start this in the key of E, and I'm going to go directly over to the key of B flat. So this is Don't Know Why by Norah Jones. Now B flat. So very far keys from each other, but you can make it sound nice if you know what you're doing. B major and D sharp major are the next furthest away we can go. And here's another really good example here. So What, the song by Miles Davis, goes from the key of D minor, really D Dorian, but who's keeping track, we're in D minor, and then the composition moves up a whole step to E flat minor. So it sounds like this. It sounds like I went quite a bit a ways. I'm just moving up really on guitar, just one fret. I'm just moving up a half step, but it sounds like I went to a very far off distant place. This is a lot different than, say, your common pop modulations, where you can think of the classic pop strong vocalist modulation at the end of a song, which would be jumping up a whole step. Think the end of Whitney Houston's I Will Always Love You. That's a whole step jump. That would be like going from the key of C over to the key of D. You can see those are much closer there. Or if you want to even get one step closer, you can modulate to the key of the 5 chord or the 4 chord. A really good example for that is Why Georgia by John Mayer. We start life in G and then we go over to D. So that would sound like this. We're doing this on G. Then we got that C chord thing. Then 6, 5 chord back to 1. Now the 4 chord back to 6, 5 chord back to 1. And then we hold an A chord, which is going to be our 5 chord of the new key resolving to D. Now we're playing in D. 1 chord, 5 chord, 2. So again, if I go back to our earlier example, we were playing a lot of G, D, and C. Of course, that's the key of G there. And then when we had our very close related modulation, we had an A chord that was leading to D, and then we have a G chord in there. Those are our 3 major chords in the chorus, so we're in the key of D there. I hope you see the benefits so far of this. It just organizes music so well, and it's a fantastic tool for learning. I want to share with you one more thing, an extra bonus thing, if you will. If we go back to our key of C, again, all of these notes over here, and I mentioned, what's the deal with these 5 notes over here? Well, I find this fascinating. This doesn't really help you so much as it is just a music theory nerd thing. But these 5 notes over here are the F sharp major pentatonic scale. Now, remember we said that 5 notes close together on this thing mean a major pentatonic scale, but when we play all the notes in C, all the notes that we're not playing is the F sharp major pentatonic scale. And I find that really cool and really fascinating. That would be the major pentatonic a tritone away. To visualize that even more, think of the piano. All the white keys, C major, all the black keys, F sharp major pentatonic. So that is some cool, nerdy stuff about music theory and the circle of force. I hope you guys enjoyed that and got something out of it. Once again, my name is Matthew Dale. Hit subscribe, hit like, hit the links in the description below. I will see you guys on the next one. Play better, sound great, and understand more.